So you can buy a block of flats with 30k budget. Yes, you heard that correctly, and you can do it as a first time buyer. So a lot of times we think that we need six figures or a six-figure income to be able to make these grand purchases, but that's not the case at all. Currently, there's lenders out here that don't require you to have any income and don't even require you to have any landlord experience that will lend to you. And at the same time, if you look at the right areas in the UK, you can actually make a purchase on a block of flats with 30k. So how do you do it and where do you look? So I'm actually currently helping mentees purchase a block of flats. And these are mentees that initially came to me and just wanted to purchase a buy to let. However, when I looked at their profile, the capital they had, I actually suggested to them that, look, we can actually work towards getting a block of flats because number one, the cash flow will be better. And number two, you can actually refinance and pull money out of the deal. So I know firsthand, it's definitely an option that you can do. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the lenders that will enable you to actually do this. But more importantly, I want to speak about some of the areas that you want to look for and actually some examples that I looked at in the last few weeks as well of block of flats, which would have enabled you to actually purchase them, where you could have actually purchased these properties with a 30k budget. Now, before we dive into anything, guys, I'm on 494 subscribers as we speak, and I want to hit 500 before the end of the week. So if you've been enjoying any videos, if you found value from any videos that you've seen on this channel, do subscribe, do support your boy. Ultimately, the more subscribers, the more engagement these videos have, the more people it gets out to, and the more people that we're able to help. So it's much appreciated. Now let's get into it. So there are lenders that will lend to you as a first time investor. So I've spoken about it on a previous video, which you can watch here, but I'll quickly provide a recap. So Molo Finance are a lender, and they will actually lend to you on property purchases, provided it's at least 75k and the loan is no less than 45k, then they will actually lend to you as a first time investor up to 3 flats within the block. This is great. You don't also need any income as well, and you can still make a property purchase on the block of flats as long as you have the deposit and you can prove the funds and you have a reasonable credit score as well. And the second lender are quantum mortgages. They require a minimum loan of 100k, but again, no minimum income, and you can purchase a block of flats as a first-time investor as well. So those are the lenders currently that will lend to you as a first-time investor. Now, let's look at that 30k budget. So there are areas up north like Cumbria, areas in and around Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, where you can actually find a block of 2 flats for around the 90k, just over the 90k mark, sometimes just below the 90k mark, which cash flow very well, where there is potential for title split opportunity. Now you've got to do your due diligence, of course. However, the opportunities are there. So I want to talk through 2 examples which I actually looked at in the last few weeks. So one was the 2 flats that I actually viewed in Cumbria. So again, this is one I briefly spoke about in a previous video. However, I want to talk about the numbers here. So this was actually up on the market for 90k. So it was up for 90k, and the flats were actually being rented out for £500 and £450 respectively. So both flats had 2 bedrooms. So £950 would be the gross rent that you would get every single month. So plugging this into my deal analyzer sheet at a 90k purchase price, the ROI here is just over 16%. And I actually know that with this property, the seller was definitely open to negotiating as well. So they actually went for an offer below the 90k mark. So the individual that would have secured the property would actually be getting a higher ROI on this. So that's one example of a really good block of flats with good cash flow. So that was actually what I did actually put in an offer. However, it got rejected and the seller went with a friend that they knew. And that was actually a property I've seen on Rightmove. And you can also see here from the deal analyzer sheet that the total money in was 31k, so around that 30k budget. So again, this is a block of 2 flats, both with 2 bedrooms, cash flowing very well, both in great condition as well. And with a 30k budget, you can actually purchase the whole block. So it is there, they are real. And as long as you know what you're doing and how to actually assess for the deals, you can find them. So the second is the block of 2 flats in Darlington. So this was actually out for 85k, and each flat was actually being rented out for £380. And I was advised that the landlord this month was going to increase the rents to 400 each. So total gross rent of £800. Again, you've plugged this into our deal analyzer sheet, and you can see here that the ROI here is 13%, and the total money in is below 30 grand. So again, there's another example of a block of 2 flats with good cash flow, and the budget is around the 30k mark as well. Now, the thing is that you want to check for though with these flats is, are they in good condition? So with these Darlington flats, and I've mentioned this in a previous video, I got Viewber, which are a third-party company, to go out and view them for me. And there was a lot of stains and problems with them that I didn't see on Rightmove. However, if this had been in decent condition, and I just say decent condition, where I wouldn't have to do no major repairs, then I very likely would have put in an offer on this property. So there are properties out here, guys. There's definitely properties out here where with a 30k budget, you can actually buy a block of flats. But it's not just the cash flow that you want to be looking at, or even the condition that the properties are in. In addition to that, you also want to be checking Are the utilities separate? So is the gas meters, electricity meters, the water supplies separate for the individual flats? Are all flats above 30 square meters? What are the EPCs on these flats? The higher the EPCs, the better. So the EPC is how energy efficient those flats are. And ultimately, to be renting out any kind of property to a tenant, the minimum is an E. So you want to make sure that the very minimum is an E, but ideally you want it to be higher than that. So these are some of the key things you want to be looking for when you're looking at flats or block of flats. Another thing as well is actually what's the title split opportunity. So when I say title split opportunity, if you were to actually add a leasehold for each flat, because with block of flats here, the strategy that I use and I work with my mentees on using is buying the block of flats under freehold title. So when you do that, you have control over the building, you control the land, you own the land as well that the building sits on. So you don't have to pay no service charges, no ground rent or anything like that. However, you have an opportunity to then create leaseholds for each flat, which means that you can mortgage per flat as opposed to just remortgaging the property as a whole. And if each flat is worth a lot more than the block purchase, then you purchase that block for, then you're going to be able to potentially refinance a lot of your money or all of your money out of the deal. So you want to also look at comparables as well for those flats. Are the comparables good? If you were title split these flats in the future, would you be able to pull out a lot of your money out of the deal? So there you have it. There are definitely deals out here, block of flats that you can purchase. As long as you're willing to look up north, you can really make 30k work for you and it can cash flow for you really well. And with that, you can actually pull out a lot of that money out of the deal as well. So yes, you know, I still believe standard buy to lets, if you buy one property and cash flow from it, can still work quite well. You know, there's high cash flowing areas across the UK. However, if you can, then block of flats is definitely another strategy to consider and look at, because you can cash flow more. And you can actually refinance and pull out money out of the deal as well. So hopefully that video helped you to understand a little bit about how you can make your money work harder for you. So guys, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you've been gaining any kind of value from my videos and you've been enjoying my videos as well, then do hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 500 subscribers by the end of the week. So as ever, if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like, and you found value from this video or any other video on this channel, then do subscribe as well. And until next time, happy investing.